Hi, everyone. I know Dave and I got to chatting behind the scenes, as you know, just catching up as friends and stuff. But sorry we're a little late, but that's okay. I'm so glad that everybody's here. As you can tell, it is Earth Day, so that's the reason why I got that little picture and stuff down there. I always want to always give a shout out to the Earth. And tonight's going to be a little special. It's going to be kind of cool. I have at least, I think, how many questions do I have? I have 15 good questions for Dave, and he's going to trans channel. And this is what I know about trans channeling. He's going to go in, he's going to give himself permission for somebody spiritual, nobody dangerous, to come in from the other world to speak to us, but he's going to be able to explain that a little better than I can. So just hang in there. I think this is going to be really great. I'm going to give us a, there we go, so everybody can see us a little better. Okay. So Dave, please include us in what's going to happen and how we're going to do this. It's going to be fun, I think.
Sure, yeah, and never really been done before. I don't think I've ever done this on any channel before. You might have seen some recordings, but it takes me a couple of minutes to get in there. You know, trance channeling, and by the way, it's trance with a CE, right? A lot of people say trans, right? And some people might get confused about the meaning of that. So don't feel bad if you made that mistake, because I made that mistake. But it's trance, like I go into a trance. I usually don't remember what I've said, or I get like just little bits and pieces of what I said. And when I'm doing trance work, I'm just like, oh, part of me is there going, oh, really? Wow, that's interesting. It's not my ideas. I'm not that I'm not that wise, right? So I know it's something else. One thing, I didn't have so much time this morning to be totally prepared here, in the sense that I usually do a little bit of work, but I think it's a good idea, because I'm just going to ask y'all to do it together with me. My belief is that everybody can do this work, and that you should get started now. You know, now is the time when we're all going to work on our sixth sense, because we need it. It's just so much going on. And really, y'all have the ability to do this. If you're driving a car right now, you might just do it a little bit, because you probably don't want to be trancing out as you're driving, right? And feel free just to listen if you prefer. But if you'd like to just do it with me, I think it helps. And it's really interesting that it's Earth Day, because one of the things that I am doing a lot now, especially now, is going into the earth and grounding. Anybody out there, you want to learn to channel, the correct thing to do is really to ground, right? You don't want to send your body out there and then have some spirit show up, because that's not really, you know, that's not really safe in some sense. You don't know what you're going to meet out there. I don't think there's really evil, but there's certainly some tricky stuff going on. And, you know, you just bring spirit right down here. That way you're in control, right? I also say, I don't know who's going to meet me out there. So if y'all have like some idea of who you'd like to speak to, collectively, we might find them. Really good to Earth, especially on Earth Day, because I think it just takes so much stress out of your life. I do this now every morning, and it connects. So I'll just say that I always use pyramids, and here's a pyramid that I'm going to use. And the pyramid is really like on top of me, right? It's made of crystal and it points downward, right? And this particular crystal pyramid, you can just see yourself in it fully enclosed. And then through your feet, like lightning bolts, send all that nervous energy. And maybe you just got like, oh, I got to take out the trash. I got to buy this at the grocery store. I got to do this. I got to do that. Just send it in there. You know, I'm worried about this, whatever it is. You know, you just want to put those worries off now. I mean, we can think about that later, right? Just through your feet, like a lightning bolt, just put all that stuff in for Mother Earth. She will transform it and she will make it beautiful, right? So just let it in there. Again, you know, don't do this with your eyes closed if you're driving, but it's quite easy to do, and it's really will release. It'll just de-stress you for a moment, right? I always do this before I do any kind of work, right? And now I'm going to open up to spirit above, right? And this is what I do. I have another pyramid. This one is the normal pointing pyramid, pointing up. And I just like to, before I put it over me, it's big enough for me, it's going to be big enough for you. Just put in anything that looks like love. So you might think of love someone gave to you. And it's always nice to do this because you'll remember, oh yeah, that teacher was really awesome. That person really helped me. And some of you will be like, wait a minute, nobody's been nice to me in a long time. Well, think about it. Feel it in your heart. There were lovers there. There are people who did just simple kindnesses there. It's true. There is love there. Remember. And then just put that love in there, even if it was just a gesture. It's always nice to remember these things. And then the next thing that you might do here is think of love you have given to someone. Maybe you did something really nice for someone and maybe you never even told them. It was just like behind the scenes. You did something kind, right? And put that like a package, put it into your pyramid, right? And then the next thing you might do is, maybe you saw somebody just do something kind for a stranger. Like, I got a haircut a year ago and the guy before me paid for my haircut. I didn't know him. He just paid for that. Maybe you saw someone help someone across the street or pay for someone's groceries or just smile at someone. Put that in your pyramid. Now, just notice, what color's your pyramid? It could be a variety of colors. There's certain colors that are common. But these pyramids, if you look at them, they will shimmer with a color. They might just be opaque or white. Now, if you get a black pyramid or a fire engine red pyramid, you're probably angry right now. You're pissed off at someone or something. That's okay. It's totally an okay emotion. I don't want anybody to go stuff their anger because that needs to be worked out. But it might not be the best time for you to trance channel, right? And that's not, red is okay, but fire engine red. And I had a guy the other day who was like, it's the red of a heart. So I'm like, okay, well, let's just check it out. Do you feel angry about something? No. Okay, well, we'll take red, right? If it's black, just consider it. If it's fire engine red, go, am I mad? Not a bad feeling, but maybe not the time to channel, right? So let's see what color I come up with. I don't want to bias you guys, but yeah. And again, all colors are good. It might just align with your chakras at the moment. There's not really a bad color, just a couple of colors you might take a look at. Take that pyramid and just put it around you. So that you'll be in a in a sort of double pyramid, one pointing up, one pointing down. It might look like a Jewish star. It might look like a Merkaba. All right, so I'll just tell you how I do it. There's a different, sometimes I get it like a road, and sometimes I'll get staircase, and sometimes I'll just be kind of floating up there, a series of staircases. Sometimes there's little messengers along the way who are like, all right, next level, next level, next level. You can do this gently. You can go all the way, or you could just see, what's the staircase look like? And that way, all of us will be kind of working together at various levels. You don't need to go all the way the first time or any time, but it's just nice to know. Let's see what shows up for me. Wow, okay. So for me in particular, I'm just seeing, and this is new, a rose, like pyramid after pyramid after pyramid. I bet that's you guys out there doing this with me, right? And it's really interesting because we could do this together. It's actually very helpful. And that pyramids kind of go up and up and up. And the first character I get kind of looks like that Man in the Moon character, and I see this as like a like a almost like the tarot card with a light in his hand and a cane. It looks kind of like just like a man made of snow, if you will, maybe Santa Claus looking kind of character. But I don't know if that's just the guy. Oh, he's going like this, like, hey, keep going. So you might meet gatekeepers along the way. And the gatekeeper sometimes might be like, wait a minute, slow down, right? And ask you to go work on the appearance again. So it's no problem if you do. Just go as far as you want to go. All right. So I'm going to go a little further out there. I see a shape that looks like the moon, but only the outline, only a circle. Wow. Okay. Lots of geometry going on for me right here. And trust me, it's a little bit different each time. All right. So, oh, okay. Here's something I see sometimes, and it's a long table, almost like a boardroom table with lights around it, Council of 12. All right. And it's sometimes like Council of 12, but sometimes Council of 13, because sometimes they kind of unite and become like they have a messenger, right? So it's 12, but it's also 1, right? It's 12, but it's also 13. Okay, guys, what more did you? All right. One of you is going to be the spokesperson. Who would like to speak? Now, you always want to check out these spirits just to make sure there's some tricky elements out there and they might want to test you, right? So, they might be there to test you. Always just trust your heart. So, do you like what you see? Does it feel good? And it needs to be better than okay, right? So this energy is very electric sort of looking lady. It's almost like those balls sometimes where they have like, sort of lightning almost in them. She looks like that. So, but I do want to test her and say, all right, show me something. Huh. Well, that's an okay image, but I'm not entirely, she still feels like a messenger, not like what I'm going to channel. Is that right? Yeah, they're actually showing me just go a bit further. Uh-huh. So, the figure of time that you see in the tarot card, it's like Father Time almost, again, with that sort of lamp he holds out. This is like the first one I saw. Okay. What would you like to show me? Oh, okay. So I'm seeing an image from my childhood. My mom is holding me like this, and my dad is looking at me. And it just makes me feel love, right? If you feel love, it gotta be real. Okay. So you're the one, they might form. So sometimes they kind of might take some time to show you who they are. All right. So let's go in. Ooh, it's cool. I'm going into the lamp. I also ask a name, and the name that I'm getting is time. So this entity is going to show up and just be called time. One reason it is time is that it wishes to be gender neutral, right? Your spirit may show up as either gender, whatever you're comfortable with. It might be your opposite, but it might not be. It has, yeah, a neutral sort of feeling. All right. Show me one more thing, time. Okay, good. That's it. All right, Sheila, we're ready for your questions and ready for the questions of your people. Again, note that you sent the questions beforehand. Dave did not really look at them, and it was a sort of a decision on his part because he wanted to not be biased and be totally fresh here. Go ahead. What? Ask any question you like.
Well, Time, I'm so grateful that you are here, and thank you very much for showing up. I have a few personal questions for you. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely. Any questions you wish.
So, in your realm, how old are you?
This is a great question because, of course, time knows no time. That is where we are. There is no time. It is indeed a contradiction. You might look at this as the sort of figure eight in light that you see sometimes like this. A time is forever, it is eternal. We show up now because you are in a particular time. That is, as you perceive the world, you proceed in time. You grow older in the world that you are in the place and the universe that you are in. That is how you perceive it. But from our perspective, all time is the same. That is 1,000 years ago, 1,000 years in advance. For us, it is kind of the same. And it is extremely difficult to explain to you because it is what it is. So we might say that we are forever, and we might say that we are never. We understand this might seem a bit silly to you, but it is a concept that we can only barely explain in your human terms, because of course you do live in time. And though this might seem an advantage and a disadvantage at the same time, let us just speak of it from your experience. And from your experience, we can say that we are ready to speak to you now, but we also have a perspective over time, that is, over a length of time.
Thank you for that. I was just wondering if there was something that we could kind of grasp onto. But anyways, we'll move forward on that. That's a fantastic answer. So another personal question I have for you is, how do you identify yourself and how do you explain yourself to humans, to people here on Earth?
Well, we take a lot of forms. That is, many of you have done the wonderful work of learning to channel today, and congratulate yourself, for you've done very well if you're able to listen to our words and be open. Also, there is a guide perhaps standing beside you who speaks. But perhaps you could repeat your question. We got a little lost.
How do you identify yourself to humans? When you think of your own self identity, what is it what you would say?
Well, we all and you all come from an original source. You just take a certain form. In this lifetime, you might have taken the form of a man or a woman, for example, and that's the form that you take. When we show up for you, we are more like energy. That is, to the others, I don't necessarily look like an old man holding a lamp. I don't necessarily look like that. They might perceive me like that. And perhaps we were friends at a time when I had that perception, and that is the fond way that they look at me. But of course, we are all just energy on the other side, and we're looking at the energy. Perhaps on the other side, they might see 1,000 incarnations of me and collectively understand me. You can understand me as being one thing, or a collection of thousands and thousands of other energies, perhaps souls that have thousands of lives together. And that is, again, a sort of difficult contradiction to explain to humans. When all of you go and you ask for your guide, or you would like to trance channel or something like this, when you do this work, we will show up in a way that makes you comfortable. That is, many of you are interested in aliens, but you might be a little bit discomforted if you saw an alien before you. Perhaps you would be a little bit frightened. Perhaps you would feel like they have power over you or something like this. So we might not show up for you as a six-fingered alien. We would show up for you as Father Time or Mother Time, if you will. Perhaps you have a preference for looking at an animal, and therefore a dog may speak to you. We will take on a form, and that is a form that is perhaps familiar to us as a being with many lifetimes and experiences, or we might show up to you as one of those spirits that you would be comfortable talking to. We have no body on the other side. We don't look in a particular way. we have more memory of how we looked when we were incarnated, for all of us have had incarnations on earth and many other places. In short, we will show up in a way that you are comfortable with. There are some spirits who are perhaps more aligned with your energy. They are more understanding of you. Perhaps they've had some particular lifetimes where they can understand you better. And so those particular souls will show up first in line, and you will go through one or the other and be like, well, I'm not sure about tigers. And tigers are not necessarily what I am most comfortable with. I would prefer lions, or I would prefer a ballerina. It is a
So
little bit up to you and your perception.
so what I'm taking is, and we're running out of a little bit of time. So if you can, I would love for you to kind of keep it as short so we can get as many questions as possible.
Okay.
Are you able to
Okay.
do that? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And we have little
With love.
perception. But
With love. So what I'm getting is it's not the fact that you have a form that you can describe. It is literally what we perceive you as, and it could be anything.
Something like that. It is a
Okay.
little bit more like an agreement between us and you, how we will present ourselves.
Okay. And a lot of people in the chat are like kind of slowed down a little so we can they can hear you. All right. So first question up, I have a question of uh is the soul of the nation, when we're talking about the United States, is the soul of the nation awakening or in danger of collapse?
Both at the same time. There is a real experience that all of you are having. We don't want to dismiss this. You really are experiencing a sort of collapse because you don't know what's going to happen next. And this is the role of people like Sheila. You don't know what is going to happen. But in this collapse, something new is being born. The collapse is necessary for the rebirth. Think of it as winter before spring.
Very nice. Winter is already going and we're coming out. So that was the next question is, where are we at in this timeline of reckoning or awakening or getting past all of this racism and our comeuppance as the United States? Where are we at in that? Are we closer to the done, or we're in the middle? What do you see?
It's fair to say you are right in the middle. Maybe we would say at in a scale of 0 to 100, you are at 55. You are just passing the middle. This is rather an abstract idea, but yes, you are somewhere near the middle, which is one reason why it is extremely difficult at this time. You can't see the beginning and you cannot see the end.
So when we get to since we're past the halfway mark, do you see it speeding up or slowing down before we can get through it?
Well, we would say speeding up. The experience of the human race is one of acceleration. That is, these things are happening very quickly. Part of that is because of the media and your access. Good things are also happening quickly. You are all learning to channel very quickly. You're learning about your sixth sense very quickly. So both of the quickenings are happening, but they are not all bad.
So what we have here is who is pretending to serve the people but is serving another agenda? Can you kind of pull a little bit of information out of the government for that?
So
Too broad.
your question is a good one. Keep in mind all of the elements, good and bad, are serving you. That is, part of that is contrast. Here is a negative force. How will I react? If there were no negative force, there would just be silence and continuance and empathy, no learning. All of the elements are there, good and bad, to help you. And this might sound a bit patronizing, but at the same time, you really are evolving. And we would ask that you notice this. Notice the new friends, the new ways, and everything like this. Does this answer your question?
I think so. It was kind of a broad question, but I have another question for the collective consciousness. The question is, what collective wound is America refusing to heal?
The idea of the United States of America is a new one. It was the idea where the average person could choose a leader. This has only occurred a few times in the history that you know of, although there are other histories that existed before history. This is a question. That is, it is not a simple answer. It was not as if the day that the United States was formed, everybody was equal. Many people did not have the right to vote. And so it has always been a question. And you continue down the road of the questions. How should I respond now as my rights are threatened and they might be taken away? There was a time when more people were getting rights, and now there's a time where people are starting to lose the rights and you are reacting. Think of America again as a question. Will there be liberty? How will I move forward and try to maintain that liberty? I would suggest also that it is beautiful that you are responding in the way that you are responding. The fact that you see something and you say, that is wrong, and I will stand up to it. However, you stand up to it is a beautiful thing. You are to be commended. Again, it is not all bad. But America is a question, and while it might seem that the worst things are happening there, keep in mind that in a place like the United States, things happen first, and they happen in an extreme way. For example, your weather patterns are extreme. The problems perhaps will show up first and more in an extreme way in the United States. But that doesn't mean the United States is the problem. In some ways, it is the forerunner for other events. These things will evolve. They will evolve as you evolve, and that is a good thing, although it may not feel good to you now.
So, with that said, the wound that we don't know about. I mean, there's so you were saying like there are so many wounds, but what is like everybody has something like in their own personal lives. Like I can't get past that. I don't want to look at that. I don't. What is the resistance of the United States? What is really happening? If you can kind of give it a moment of depth and weight in that kind of collective to help the enlightened people understand that we need to put more energy into that wound and heal that instead of scattering it everywhere else. We need to know where we need to focus.
This is a fine way to ask the question. You've mentioned, for example, that there are many individuals in the United States. And let us keep in mind that the United States is not one thing, it is many people. And those many people can shift in a direction. The wound that you speak of is a little bit like, you wonder how to describe it. We would look at it, first of all, as each of you. Every one of you carries a wound. Some of you have done a good deal of work on that wound. Some of you have chosen to say, I simply cannot deal with this wound at the moment. I must put it aside and go to work. I have to feed my children. The wound is there. Perhaps I will get some time to work on it. All of you have some kind of wound. Many of you have moved forward in healing the wound. But some in the United States have not healed their wounds. They like the wounds just the way that they are, and they would leave them just as they are. They would rather not self-reflect. You are learning how to live with those having reflected, but living with those who have not reflected. One thing that you have 100% control over is reflection on your own wound. We would say do this slowly. Be kind to yourself as you do this. Encounter the self that is wounded and be nice to them as if you would to a friend. Let them express themselves and their feelings. Understand also that you cannot make others deal with their wounds. Those who are doing things that are wrong are wounded people who refuse to look at their wounds. Perhaps those wounds are so intense that they are fearful of what will happen if they look at them. And this is the dynamic that is going on. Those who are working on healing and those who are refusing to work on healing. And then there is the contrast. It is if one group of people is saying, heal your wounds, and the others are saying, no, we will not heal them. We refuse to heal them. We like them. They give us material wealth, our wounds, and we don't want to change them. This is a continuing force. Heal your own wounds insofar as you can, and accept that some will never heal their wounds. They simply choose not to do so. If you can be kind to them, that will be helpful. That will instruct them that it's better to heal their wounds than to not heal their wounds. As a collective body and you move forward, there is also a peaceful movement that is evolving. We are very glad to see that some of you are going out and doing the work. Some of you are doing the work by protesting, peacefully protesting, and being an example of how change can come about in a peaceful way. We would say that in a practical matter, in a practical sense, in a public sense, this is the most important thing for you to do. Protest peacefully, and that could mean that you have a YouTube channel. It does not necessarily mean you need to leave your house. It might mean that you support the peaceful movement. It might be that you're just kind to someone who is looking at their wounds and you are helping them to look at their wounds. All of you have a role. There's not just one role. Find your role. And that is what we would wish to say. Find your role and accept it. And don't have some expectation that it is all up to you alone. You will find others. And that is the other thing we recommend. Find others who are working in the peaceful resolution of overcoming the discrimination, racism, and abuse, all of the other things that are not democratic. Find others. Find yourself.
That is fantastic. It makes sense that collectively, the more people who heal, the more healing energy will be produced. Therefore, those who are not healed will be faced with that opportunity on a regular basis. Either you heal or you don't. And there's something's got me. Sorry. So there's also one thing I wanted to speak with what I heard you say is that we as people who want to heal and have done a lot of healing, we tend to hesitate because we're still waiting for the loved ones that are not healed to come with us. And what happens is we delay our own healing, waiting for those who are not healed. And I think that is one aspect that we need to separate ourselves from at this point in time, is you just keep on doing your healing. The more you heal, the better energy and opportunity they will have to heal. I think we had it backwards.
We are in perfect agreement with what you have said.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go to a little bit of a political question as we do. So divine justice. We know that we may never see physical justice. Sorry, people. With this administration or even Trump, okay? But we do want to see, what do you see in the Akashic records about the divine justice? I know you may not be privy to the end. You might be. If you do, please let us know. But with the divine justice, is it already in motion, and how far along is this divine justice with all of this stuff that we have had to deal with?
Divine justice is always in motion. It is always taking place. Just as every day there are individuals on some political spheres that you do not like, that is, some political actors that are unpleasant to you, they are also experiencing a divine justice, because every day they are making decisions. Let us say that you are in the role of a police person and you must, because of your job, arrest someone, even though you know in your heart that this is not the right thing to do. The person has done nothing wrong. You can identify with them. Imagine for a moment that you are that police person. You must still feed your children. You are ambitious. You want to complete your job. You have chosen to do this job perhaps for the right reasons, but now you are experiencing a contradiction. You are wondering if it's right or wrong. That is divine justice. The person is put in a position where they must make the choice. What should I do? Could I compromise? Could I do the right thing? Could I do perhaps the wrong thing, but then go home and change my mind? This is divine justice, and the divine justice is everywhere. Every single person is experiencing it. Their consciences are asking them questions. Do not make the mistake of thinking that these people, when they go home, simply forget about it and go to sleep. They are worried. They are worried about their own divine justice. Perhaps they don't believe in anything. Perhaps they will tell you, oh, I am an atheist and it is just about money and material things. But when they go home, they still consider, what about my soul? Even if it is not immortal, what about my soul? This is the divine justice. Another divine justice is those who are really trying to do the right thing. And every day they consider these things and say, what's the best way to act? How could I convince others? How can I be an example? How can I work together? Maybe they will ask, well, is there a little part of me that is enjoying the power of saying no? And maybe I will work on that. That is also the divine justice. We would say your path is a happier one if you mostly do the right thing, but occasionally consider, well, yes, but I could have been kinder. That is a happier path towards the divine justice. But what you are asking is about the end. What will happen in the end? Will people be, let us say, punished? And we will tell you that they will punish themselves when they get to the end of their lives, if it does not happen during their lives. They will get to the end and they will feel terrible. They will feel terribly ashamed. They will be disgusted at the life that they have led. So that is also divine justice. In your lifetimes, will you see the truth? Will it be revealed? Will the government change? We will tell you, yes, you will see this. You are already seeing this. The political tide is already changing. Your leaders are nervous. They are worried about what will happen. They are starting to change their minds. They are starting to think that perhaps this was not the best path. It is not far away when certain results will be revealed. Not everything will be solved by your next election, but some things will be solved. And after that election, they will be solved even more. We cannot tell you the exact moment or the exact trajectory, but we will tell you, you will be reasonably satisfied at the conclusion. You will not get everything you want. You will not see the right people in chains, perhaps, but you will know that their consciences have served them and they will change and everything will change.
Thank you. And I have another question. We're going to stay a little political, and then we're going to go into UFOs. There's a question on in the chat that I want to ask you about the UFOs. So before you bring them in, let's talk about this one. What is the spiritual / metaphysical / healing aspect of the purpose behind the chaos, division, and rage in America? What is the purpose behind it, coming from a spiritual outlook on it?
It is to wake you up. Think of a time in the, let us say, the 1970s, and here we bounce a little bit off of Dave's memory and his conscious understanding at that time. There were some things that were terrible. The governments were doing horrible things to places like South America, but you did not know about it. It was far away. Your media did not necessarily respond to it because that's not where the power was. There was a great power in just distraction and having fun and going out and doing fun things and just joking about. Perhaps people would have been very distracted just by what they saw. Oh, look at the beautiful life that we're living. It's so easy. And we speak specifically about the United States of America. But under the surface, there were still problems. Let's think of your ERA amendment. It didn't pass. Why not? That was because it wasn't really what it seemed. It wasn't a totally liberated society. Under the surface, certain cultures were being oppressed. Now it has come to the surface. It has come to the surface in your country. And we'll use the word karma, although it's an inadequate word. There was a karma here. All of you needed to see, yes, these are terrible things. This is wrong. It is wrong to oppress others. And you are seeing it. It is not just that you were dismissing it. You just didn't have it in your view. You were busy doing other things or watching television or something now. Now it is different. It is very clear to you the risks and dangers of this oppression. And we don't say this to blame anyone. We just say it has come to your consciousness. Another thing has come to your consciousness now, which is your power to alter the future, your power to change, your power to get together and solve some of these problems, and your power of intuition. These political powers are so overwhelming that sometimes you feel helpless. Along the same lines, something has shown up to say, no, you are not helpless. Even if you were in a prison, you would still have the freedom of your mind and soul. You could still channel. You could still speak collectively. You could still understand the others in the prison next to you and be kind to them. You always have a certain level of freedom, even if your body is not free. There is some freedom there. And so we have delivered this, let us say, sixth sense awareness to all of you. And there's a path here towards freedom. It is sort of like an extra thing you didn't know you had. So we have presented the problem, but we have also presented a secret and hidden power. And if you wish to move forward, we suggest don't hesitate to tap into both. Don't forget, you have a hidden power. It is something like love and understanding. It is also a power to connect with others and to spirit, a spirit which is timeless.
Yeah, there's one aspect of this when you were talking about all of that. Say, let's take it to like weight loss. When you start losing weight, your cells that have been hanging on with fat, when you start starving those cells, they start screaming at you and begging for nutrition, begging for your junk food and stuff like that until they absolutely go away. And that always reminds me of what's going on in America. Like all of the hate and all of that they absolutely love to hang on to, we're starving them. And they're starting to get louder and louder and louder and causing so much chaos. But the real truth is keep starving them, don't feed them. And that is probably the best message. Do not feed the hate. Do not let them starve. Let them die. Right? Let that energy die. It doesn't need to here, but it's going to get really loud before they finally quiet down. That's kind of what I got out of what you're saying. Okay, so we have one more spiritual, and then we'll go into aliens. It says, what can light workers and spiritual messengers navigate this storm without losing hope? What is it that we need to just solidly concentrate? We talked about energy already. We've already talked about healing already. We've already talked about all of that stuff. But what is there anything left that we as light workers can definitely hang on to of hope?
Don't forget the self. One thing that we will, again, bounce off Dave's experience that he used to do in the morning is as he was meditating, he would say, all right, I cannot predict the outcome. I will just ask for the best possible outcome for all of the people he shares the planet with. And this was a kind thing to do. It was a good thing to do. But he kept forgetting himself. There is an inner child in him, just like everyone else, who was hurt, who he was skipping over. I will forget that pain. I will go to the pain of others. This is a bit of a mistake. As you are an empath, as you give your love to others, as you do your light work, don't forget to go to the self and say, there's an 8-year-old me who has really something to tell me. Don't forget to go to that portion of yourself and reckon with them a bit. Let them speak. And as you do, They will be reincorporated over time as you continue to meet and feel their pain, understand them, give them kindness, as a kind parent would to a child. Listen to them and incorporate them. And that way, as you move forward, you will always become happier, better, because you will have understood yourself better. This is an essential thing. You cannot move forward and help others unless you are helping yourself at the same time. If portions of yourself are left behind, it will feel like chaos because you won't get as much out of it as you need to move forward. Don't forget that portion of yourself and just make it a portion of your week or a day. Don't try to do all of it tomorrow. Just take a little bit here and a little bit there and then move forward. And as you are kind to yourself, you will find that you are more able to be kind to others who you agree with and who you don't agree with. You will see, yeah, that is why they are so full of hate. They've locked away a little child in them, and they are still being cruel to that child. They are still hiding that child away. And then you will understand, this is what's happening. This does not mean you acquiesce to their demands or you become silent. It will help you to understand everything, yourself and them, and you will know how to move forward better. The light is always going to be there. Don't forget yourself. Don't forget the portion of you that needs the healing. And as you move forward, it will always be in a positive direction because you will always be healing the self and you will always come to understanding the others.
Yes, and what I get out of it is I always put the oxygen mask on first.
This is a fine analogy.
Yeah, before you help others. And what it's really telling you is this: how we navigate that is we continue to be responsible for our energy that we put out into the world. When we are responsible for the energy that we put out into the world, therefore we will always feel good about our day, about who we are and what's going on. And it's as simple as just sitting in your chair or in your basement, nobody knowing you even exist that day, and making sure that your energy is pure and good, putting it out into the world. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Okay, so now we're going to shift our gears over to the aliens, because we all always wonder about the aliens. And since you're out in that realm, maybe you can answer this question. I'm going to kind of read the question, and then there's a little extra on it. It says, was blue beam technology used in the UFO drone settings around the country recently? I guess I haven't heard about that, but to caveat to that is, how are the aliens talking to us? Because we know they've been communicating. I know that we are not healed enough to meet them yet, because or else we would have already. So how are they communicating, and are they involved in our transition?
Yes. So we don't necessarily know what you mean by this particular kind of technology, although we can see it. We would say that, first of all, the aliens are already speaking to you. You might consider me, the entity that's speaking to you, as a sort of collective, and this collective is full of aliens. They are people or beings, should we say, who have lived on other planets and who have experienced flying over your world in spaceships. And we have come together collectively to help. It is useful that we've had many different kinds of experiences on many different planets, including yours. It helps us to help you. So we are already here. We are speaking to you right now as aliens. Some of you have had direct contact. It is interesting to note that two people standing on a bluff, one might see the spaceship and one might not, because it's not appropriate for the second to see it. They're not ready to take in that new information. You may have literally seen this or seen lights, or you have seen videos of these, and they are real. The videos that you've seen are true. They are coming mostly from people who are telling the truth. They are not making it up. There has already been contact, some of it accidental, and most of it are intentional. So these things are going on, and indeed it is not really the time for us to land on the White House lawn. That would be extremely dangerous to us and to you. because the powers that exist on the planet Earth are not yet in alignment with the understanding and the information we would like to share. So we must keep our distance. The ideal way to speak to you is in this fashion, as we speak to you now. There are some who have made physical contact and they have not remembered it. That is, maybe they will have a memory or a dream that something happened. Perhaps they will experience lost time. And we've noticed that sometimes this frightens them. And we hesitate to do this very often because we don't want you to be frightened of us. We don't want to be a force that is negative, but a force of good. So we are always available. Should you choose to channel, you may. As we show up, we may not look like aliens because that is your preference. But some of you are perfectly ready to channel and talk to aliens, and you can if you wish. It is all there. Dave is presently reading a book by Dolores Cannon called The Custodians. And this gives a list of many people who have had direct contact with aliens. Often they do not remember it until she puts them into a hypnosis. And if you look at cases of hypnosis, you will see they are full of contacts with aliens. It is happening now at all times. Aliens are constantly around you and they are wanting to speak to you if you are comfortable and ready. And also, it may not be the time. Perhaps you would rather speak to an angel. It is up to you.
I did. Thank you. And that, I just got as you were talking, I just got this like remote view, this whole movie picture of everything you were saying. And the aliens keep on saying, we're waiting for your vibration so that you can see us. I was like, what? Like, we're waiting for the vibration to start coinciding and be with them. And I thought, oh, that's what they've been waiting on the most, is for us. And I think what's happening in the United States and all over the world, really, we are purging all of this, just like the energy that is just under the gutter. We're purging it. Somebody mentioned don't bash negative or dark energy. You're absolutely right. It serves its divine purpose within the species. 100% I give it its kudos. It's just tough to get through. As humans, we don't want to, right? but it does have its absolute divine purpose, being here and pushing us into the enlightenment. And I just heard it. And I just saw it. Like the aliens are literally waiting for us to reach their vibration because they can't come down. They have.
This is well said. Yes, you have got it correct.
Yeah, they can't come to like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, it'd be like for them, it was like starvation to show up in physical form and be in front of us and be amongst us. It'd be like starvation for them.
Indeed. And we will tell you a secret. Many of your viewers have had the same vision, just as you have had it. This is how you connect. This is the sixth sense. This is what we have to offer you now in a new time, is this ability to see things.
Yeah, we us humans are still very toxic to them. I agree with you, Rhonda. If everybody in the chat is wondering why I have it on a 7-second delay, is that the reason why the chat is kind of going a little slow so that everybody can read and stuff? I may keep it to 3. 7 may be too long. But anyways, we have another question about the aliens, although we did crack a few of that. How can I, what was the question was, how do we reconcile our differences and not want to overpower the aliens? Because when we see them, we want to then dominate them. That's our nature. That's our human nature. What can they provide for us? What can they give us? So what kind of money can we get from them? So what is it that we have to, I always ask this question, what do you have to give up in order to be enlightened enough to not do that? So what is it that everybody has to give up in order to be enlightened enough to not want to use aliens for profit when they do get here?
We would say that most of your viewers are completely ready to do this. That is, insofar as they would like to, they can meet them, and they will not ask, oh, I would like $5 million from you, please. Thank you, alien. Most of your viewers are not like that. You are ready, but you are not in power. That is, you do not necessarily control the government. And that is our problem. It is not you. It's not you we are worried about. Those of you who are curious about expanding yourselves, learning more. Perhaps you would like some new technologies so that your Earth does better in the future. But the political leaders are far from you. They are in a different place. And that is the real problem. We do not criticize. We think that your efforts are good ones. That insofar as you are able to contact spirit, whether it show up as an angel or an alien, you are in good form. You wish to do this. You are ready to learn. You are open and doing the work. But there are elements of your government which are just beyond your control. And you, those of you who are watching, who are working towards the light, are in the process of working out how to manage those, let us say, shadowy forces of your government. You are learning how to say, hey, we don't want to meet the aliens like this. We don't accept your demanding nature. Back off, if you will. Let them do their thing. Show up with the information. And that is the best way that we can show up, with information for those who are ready for it, while those who are not ready for it, those who would make demands, they cannot see us, or they can but pretend that they cannot. Prepare yourselves in the way that you are preparing yourselves. You cannot control the others. They will learn as they are learning now. Just trust us. You don't see it, but their turmoil, for those who are shadowy, is extremely great right now. They are worried about their existences, and that is what will change. That is what will prepare them for contact.
Yes, I can see it now. If the aliens showed up, uh, the America GOP, the racists, would leave the brown people alone, and then all of a sudden the aliens would be the ones that need to go to concentration camps. But anyways, we're just not healed. we're just not healed yet. Also, somebody wanted to know the question, and you may or may not know this. Of course, we have always had reports, and people have talked about their real experience about being either abducted or visited by aliens. What is their purpose, and what are they doing with us, and why do they? What do they really want to know about us? Is the reason why they're doing that.
Again, we will refer to the book The Custodians by Dolores Cannon, which will give you a good deal of information on this topic in great detail. One thing that occasionally happens is we want to see how the planet is evolving. Some elements that showed up on your Earth were not part of the plan. You might say there was a little bit of poison inserted as the planet was evolving. We wanted to see how things would happen when we were not in total control, and that is how it has evolved. But sometimes we wish to see, well, this chemical, for example, has been introduced to the planet. We want to take a look at the human body to see, well, how great is the emergency? Is there something we could gently shift? And when we say gently shift, we would go to the consciousness of some individuals and say, study this, take a look at this, notice this. Our primary purpose is just to see how you are doing. Again, we want to know if it is serious. It is time to make some suggestions or movements in particular directions. And sometimes it is helpful to us to look at the human body, to examine it in such a way. We hesitate to do this too often because it is intrusive. It is sometimes just a bad memory for people. But those who go and chat with the aliens, those who meet us in certain places, have agreed. They don't remember that they agreed, but they are sort of like volunteers. I will let you take a look at my body in the year 1985. And I agree that I will not necessarily remember everything. Or I agree that I will start to remember and I will start to tell everybody, maybe there are aliens. This was my experience. Because of your emotional planet, sometimes people have negative emotions because it associates them with losing control. And that association with losing control makes you fearful. So we are as ginger, as tentative as possible. We only do this with people who agreed, perhaps before they came into the body, to do this. And that is what we are taking a look at. We are looking a little bit at your emotional body, also at your physical body, but also at your spiritual body. And we note some of you are moving very swiftly in a spiritual direction. And some of you are reacting to chemical imbalances that exist in your society. And this does concern us.
Well, thank you very much. I have my empathic ways and my intuition is telling me that Dave is getting tired. So if we could have Dave back, that would be great. I appreciate you showing up time. And thank you for answering our questions as best that you can. I know that we are difficult sometimes, and I appreciate your grace. So if we could have Dave back, that would be great.
We would say that though you are difficult, you are very brave and you are moving in the right direction. All of you are experiencing things in a good way. This doesn't mean that it always feels good. And we commend you. We commend you for moving forward in the light. And with that, we will end this transmission. All right, you guys, he's joking around and getting in a spaceship and flying away.
Like the Jetsons.
Yeah, exactly like that. All right. Wow, Sheila, I'm really glad that we did that in that way because it is you had a vision just as he was speaking, like you could see it, and I'm telling you, I really got the impression that lots of people out there were seeing what you saw, and yeah,
he was producing a whole lot of pictures. Although I didn't see it, if everybody could probably see my face, I would get another one. I would get another one. It was fantastic. I was like, I need to invite him back when I do a remote view. Oh, that'd be transpaneling. But anyways, he was really producing. So I call him he. I didn't ask what gender he, right. But it was really spectacular. All of the visions that he was talking about were like 55, but then I saw 55 go. It started with slow uphill, slow like a roller coaster. You know how the roller coaster goes, then it gets over.
That's right.
Has scared everybody, right? And then we're past that, over that hump, and it goes whoosh. And that's what vision. I know I'm frozen right now. It's been doing that. That was the vision that I got when he started, and that's the reason why I asked, do we speed up? Because I just saw it go open over the thing. And I think once we get over that hill, we're going to be downhill and it's going to speed up. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. There's just rapid fire of everything. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. It was great. I'll tell you, I don't remember most of it.
I just say you're going to have to watch this again. So it's fantastic.
I have to watch it because, and I tell you, whenever I do this, I have to go down. That's what they said, right? I could tell you he was kind of male looking, but there was also that female figure that showed up. So it was male and female in the sense like she was informing him too. Right. But I think that's really interesting because they will show up as a physical form of a male, but it's just, that's how they're showing up. Maybe that's just appropriate for you today, or they might show up as a female, or they might kind of be genderless. That's totally up to you.
Only humans place gender roles on everything.
Yeah. It's just easier for people to understand if it is
Well, we've had gay, transgender, and neutral people from the beginning of time. They came with us. They have been produced the same time any male or female. And I'm like, I am female. I am not gay, but I really don't like, dating men. But I'm not gay. I don't know how else to explain it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I did it, but it wasn't like the thrill of my life. It wasn't my goal to have, a husband or a boyfriend or anything like that. I never put that as a priority.
Yeah.
So I've always asked, what am I? Just neutral. Oh, okay.
As a gay man, I wasn't necessarily happy to date men for some time myself, until of course I met Mr. Right. But that was a long-term manifestation. It did not happen really till I was about 45. So it's
exactly
a good thing. Sometimes people are supposed to be on their own or making friends. Like, love doesn't have to have the concept of like the movie that we see where they walk up into the sunset, right? It also be you and your circle of friends, or you and a best friend. I relish those years when I just had a best friend and neither of us had a partner, because we had so much fun together.
Yeah, well, my best friends literally have to like knock on my door and drag me out of my home. Like, let's go somewhere, Sheila. They absolutely love spending time with me. I just don't like getting out of my home. That's a whole new video, Dave.
All right. Okay. Well, maybe that's a private.
Yeah, it's a whole new video about that. But I thank you so much. I hope that you're able to. You're thirsty, and I feel that you're hungry. Am I true? Am I?
Yeah, I am a little bit hungry.
You're not like hungry in your belly. You're hungry like you need some. Like you need. What is it? The magnesium and the potassium. That's what you need right now.
Thanks very much. Okay. I'm on my way to the store, and I think I'm going to get some salmon.
Yes, you need that right now. In order to, I'm giving you a reading right now, and I don't know why, but we're going to do it live. The spiritual doctor is in the house and it's speaking.
Potassium. What else?
Potassium and magnesium is what your body needs right here, right now. And and it's definitely telling me that you're thirsty, and I don't know what that's about, but I feel like you could probably drink an ocean and then another one at the same time. So, I don't know what that's about, but anyways, well, I'm so thankful everybody has showed up. We are past that hour mark, as we all do. We turn into whale roofs if we go past the hour.
I'm just gonna copy Rhonda here and put my hands together. That was just great, Sheila. I'm so glad we did that this way. I just thought, really, we were very much working together there and channeling together. I mean, you and all y'all.
That was, the energy that when we have the collective energy is just fascinating. Well, I'm doing a live tonight, and then I'm doing another live with with Danny and Lori tomorrow morning. So definitely show up for that live as well. We'll get all the questions for there. We're going to do some tarot card readings. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody that's on Dave's channel who shows up, and everybody that's my subscribers have showed up. We've made it a great evening. And is there any last words from you?
I would just repeat like what they said. You're doing great work. If you're just managing the day, you're doing great work, right? Just give yourself a pat on the back. It's not all bad. We are all evolving and learning, and that's a good thing.
And all of us in this realm have been talking and feeling that we're almost to the end.
Yeah,
we all feel that, like it's tangible now that we can see that we're almost through it. So
great.
All right, take a deep breath, and bye everyone. Thank you for sharing.